cell was myocyte. So myocyte cells are responsible for the voluntary and involuntary movement of the body. There are three types of myocyte cells: smooth, cardiac, and skeletal muscle cells. Smooth muscle cells are responsible for involuntary movement, like helping to digest food in the intestine. Cardiac muscle cells are the muscle fibers that comprise the center muscular layer of the heart. Finally, skeletal muscle cells are responsible for voluntary movement because they are under the intended control of the synaptic nervous system. They connect muscle tissue to the skeleton and control locomotion. Skeletal muscle cells are compartmentalized into different muscle tissues around the body, such as biceps and quadriceps. They are long, cylindrical, and striate, which means marked with long, thin, parallel streaks. Cells that are attached to bone by tendons. These cells can be as long as 30 centimeters. However, they are usually 2 to 3 centimeters in length. Myocyte cells are multinucleate to allow them to fuse together to form a muscular fiber. These muscle fibers are so large that they need more nuclei to control them. The nuclei are pressed against the cell membrane. Since they are responsible for movement, they require a surplus of energy. Therefore, they contain an abundance of mitochondria to generate a sufficient amount of ATP. Biologists have applied specific terminology to different parts of skeletal muscle cells, such as sarcolemma, which is known as the cell membrane of a muscle cell, and sarcoplasma, which is known as the cytoplasm of a skeletal muscle cell. Sarcoplasma contains myoglobin, an oxygen storage site, and glycogen, which provides an energy supply. In addition, the sarcoplasma contains many proteins that help skeletal muscle cells function. Myosin, actin, and titin are three important proteins in a skeletal muscle cell that work together to form myofibrils that help to expand and contract muscles. Myofibrils are found in the cytoplasm and are made of myofilaments. There are three types of myofilaments that make up myofibrils: thick, thin, and elastic. Thick myofilaments are made from myosin, which is a type of motor protein. Thin myofilaments are made from actin, which is used by cells for structure. Elastic myofilaments are formed from a protein known as titin, which is a stabilizing protein. These myofilaments slide past one another to contract small units of muscle. These three proteins work together to create muscle contraction, allowing the body to move and stretch, and for humans to do their daily activity. To activate a muscle, the brain sends an impulse down a nerve. The nerve impulse travels down the nerve cell to where it meets a muscle cell. From here, the impulse is transferred to the transverse tubules in the skeletal muscle cell wall, causing the release of calcium. The cytoplasm is flooded with calcium, which causes the proteins to contract the muscle. However, many disorders can hinder the function of muscle cells. Duchenne muscular dystrophy, or DMD, is a genetic disorder characterized by progressive muscle degeneration and weakness. DMD is caused by a particular gene on the X chromosome that, when mutated, causes a lack of production of the protein dystrophin. Lack of dystrophin protein in muscle cells cause muscle weakness and fragility to the muscle cell. DMD is passed on by the mother and begins to deteriorate the muscle as early as 2 years old. First, it affects the muscles closest to the core of the body, and then it moves to limb muscles. Lower external muscles are affected before the upper external muscles. As DMD progresses, it affects the heart and respiratory muscles. With advances in cardiac and respiratory care, life expectancy is now around 30 years. Another disease that impacts the skeletal muscle cell function is MS, or multiple sclerosis. MS is a potential disabling disease of the brain and spinal cord. It occurs when one's immune system attacks the protective covering encompassing nerve fibers and therefore causes communication problems between nerve and myocyte cells. This can impact movement and even take away the ability to walk. Most individuals are diagnosed with MS between ages 20 and 50. Women are twice as likely to be diagnosed with the disease than men. There is no cure for MS, however, treatment can provide respite and speed recovery from attacks. Myocyte cells are integral for locomotion and to stabilize the body. These cells create muscles in the body, and without these cells, one would not be able to function, and diseases that impair the function of these cells are life-threatening. Thank you.